Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to John's Ukulele Cafe, and today we have our first guest on the channel, and it's Chris Teesdale. And Chris Teesdale works at Willis Music Company. He's the educational representative, and we both have something in common, which I think is pretty cool. He studied percussion in college and was an education major. And we're just gonna start off by asking you a couple questions because everyone has a uke collection. Could you tell us a little bit about your ukuleles?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great place to start.
All right.
So let's see. Right now, I think I've got three at the moment that are mine. I have my favorite is a Kala six-string tenor. It's just a mahogany gloss finish, but it has double octaves on the C and the A, so it really spreads the range. And I just love playing that because it just has a fullest sound that really fills up a room for an unamplified ukulele, which is really great. Then I also have a Ohana tenor ukulele with electronics built in. So when I need that, I have that, which is great. Just a regular four-string tenor. And then I recently, probably back about a year ago this time, probably right after COVID started, got a baritone. It's actually an Alvarez baritone ukulele. Alvarez is new to ukuleles, but they've been doing great guitars for a long time. And I love it. It's a fantastic instrument. So those are the three I'm playing on right now myself. So
Awesome. I didn't even know they made a six-string uke. I know they make five strings, but I've never seen a
well,
six.
they
So
don't make it.
okay, okay.
That's
The
what I
cat's out
have.
of the bag now. That's cool. That's amazing. All right, cool. And can you tell us a little bit about your role in Willis Music Company?
Yeah. So I've been with Willis Music now for I guess 7 years, a little over 7 years. And for the last 2 years, I've been the educational representative. And so what that means is I go out to schools and take care of all the music educators at all levels, K through 12 and college also. And then also try to connect with their families and help them as well. Before that, I was store manager in Lexington at our location there. But after doing that for quite a while, I always loved going out in schools, and I kept asking and asking, "Can I go out in schools more and more and more and more?" And they were able to make that happen a couple years ago, which was great personally, but also professionally. It's been a blast.
Awesome, awesome. Have you been to any schools that have ukuleles that do any class ukulele or anything like that?
Yeah, that's actually been one of the things I was working on before I even got into this role in schools full time. I kind of have tried to help put that in all the schools. And the nice thing is, as musicians, we all have our community that we talk with. And so once you kind of got ukuleles in one school, it started to take off. So I'm in Lexington here, Lexington, Kentucky. And so we started with one elementary school, got them a classroom set of ukuleles, and then it really started to take off. Probably, I'd say about maybe 15 elementary schools and one middle school in Fayette County here that I've helped get ukuleles into. There were a few that had them before as well. So we've just all trying to get them all to talk now and figure out how to teach better in those group settings too. But yeah, that's been exciting. And it was one of those, can we help replace the recorder, the classroom instrument, with
Yeah,
something that as a parent and as an educator both, there might be some better options to teach the same curriculum. And so I think we've done that. It's
okay.
been great.
That was going to be my next question is
Oh, is it?
how would you compare the sales of recorders versus ukuleles nowadays after all the ukuleles have been?
Yeah, it's funny. There's still a few schools that do the recorder thing,
Mhm.
which is fantastic. And we've
Sure.
always done a lot with recorders ourselves. Recorders are definitely, of course, more affordable. But
Yeah,
then long term, I think about, well, if a school buys a classroom set of ukuleles, they last a long time. But if they have to buy a new set of recorders every year for hundreds of students, it kind of adds up.
that's true.
Um, so it's not only just a teaching thing; it's in the schools that's important. So that's one of the things I'll talk about. But the nice thing is, I think with ukulele, you can make that work with any grade. Elementary school and older, even all the
Yeah.
way down to kindergarten. They can do it. They can understand how to make a sound and how to do some basic things because it's such a quick instrument to start learning on, I think.
Sure, sure. I've
I
never
never
seen
could
it.
make a good sound on a recorder, John. I don't know about you. You probably could, but
I
not
don't
me.
know. I don't really remember. I think I remember my sister playing the instrument back when I was in elementary school, and I don't think she played it very much because I
See,
didn't hear it very much in the
that's
house.
my point. You don't remember playing it,
Yeah,
but you remember your sister playing it. That's it.
that's right. I wonder if anyone has tried to put ukuleles and recorders together, like if there's been two different things and then they put them
That's a
together.
good
So
question. That is a
yeah,
good question. I'll have to ask around and find that out. I don't know of that happening, but it wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, just because ukulele is such a great rhythm instrument. It's a fine solo instrument too, but I was just thinking, that could be interesting.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it might require two different teachers or
that's true.
scheduling something. So
Hmm.
okay, cool. Why should someone go to a retail store and check out a ukulele versus buying it online or from
Ooh.
Amazon or something like that? What do you
I don't know
think
if
are
we have
some
enough. I don't know if
pros?
we have enough time to talk about that, John, but
Okay.
we'll try to make it brief.
Okay.
Lots of reasons. One, support local music stores. That's
Yes.
the biggest one.
Yep.
Those big shop retailers are hurting the local music stores across the country for sure. We're lucky
Yeah.
that we're in a good place, but others have not been so fortunate. The best thing for me, it's twofold. One, you get to hear it and feel it before you play. And
Mhm.
to me, when you go in to purchase an ukulele, it's hold it.
Mhm.
How does it feel? Especially if you don't know what size you want. Like if it's your first purchase, some people come in the first time and think, oh, I need a soprano. Not necessarily. And so it's how does it feel? Does it feel too small? Okay, let's go to the concert or the tenor size or maybe baritone. Have you played guitar before? I mean, all that affects that. So then, of course, the sound. And you can't do that online. There's nothing that comes close to that. The other big part of it, I think, that's important too, is to be able to have a conversation with somebody and talk through those things, talk through those steps, because the guys that are working in the music store or gals are the experts. So they know a lot of information based off what they've learned and what they hear and see from others. So it's kind of an invaluable resource. I buy stuff for my children and toys and things on Amazon, but man, not going to see me ever do that for a musical instrument ever.
Yeah,
It's really valuable.
I've definitely been there with the ukulele going into stores and trying things out because I have made an online purchase before and I do definitely regret that. And then after you're stuck with it, you're like, oh no, I've got a ukulele that I don't really love and I didn't try it out. And it just kind of taught me a lesson. Yeah, you should go and try it out. If the stores around have it, you need to go and see it and check it out.
Yeah.
And for size is important too. So, all right, great. Um, do y'all carry? So I've been working on this past year, putting together a playlist of songs from the Daily Ukulele books by Jim Bailoff. Do
Yeah,
you know if
right.
you all carry that book
We
at
do.
your
Yeah.
locations? Okay,
Yeah, we
good.
do. I think we've got the baritone edition in now. We didn't always, but we've had it in for about a year at least also, which is neat. Yeah, we do. Those
Cool.
are those are definitely some of the go-to. We have a lot of books in our store for ukulele. It's probably at least 100 ukulele books usually in
Awesome.
stock. So it's a little bit of everything. You got some stuff with chords. There's the chord with the lyrics to songs. You've
Yeah.
got your very basic beginner or that ukulele aerobics book I really like.
Yeah.
Um, and lots of song books, which is how I first started playing with song books. So
Yeah.
even
We're
with
gonna
like the lead sheet, like a lead sheet where it's got the melody and the words and the chords
yes.
written above the melody line, like
That's
so
my
you can sit
favorite.
and play. Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
like to do.
So you can always see the melody and you can
Yep.
play the melody or sing the melody if you want to,
Right,
and not
right.
have to guess like, what am I supposed to sing on this part? So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
that's
love the
great.
book. I love when you have something every day to learn, though. That I love the format of those 365-day books because yeah, that's what I think it's the perfect way to learn something like the ukulele. I really do.
Yeah.
So, and
There's so
I'm
many
glad they're
songs
doing that.
out of there I've just never have ever seen. I may have heard of them before, but I've never heard them. And so I was like, if I force myself into learning this, I know I will like the songs probably, but I think I just need to, just do it. And so I think that's a cool challenge, kind of like the Cynthia Lynn 100 Day uke
Oh,
challenge
yeah.
that she has. Pick a song that has to do with love, and then like the next day, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
I should do more of that. I think you just gave me the motivation to do that.
All
It's
right,
awesome.
cool. Yeah, awesome. What do you think is a good age to start learning the ukulele?
Ooh, yeah. It's interesting, like with piano, which has kind of always been the first instrument that usually most children learn. We usually say 7 or 8
Hmm.
because their hands have to get strong enough. But
Yeah.
I really think personally, what I've experienced, like a 6 and 7 year old can really play the ukulele pretty well and get a good sound out of it. So I definitely think you can start younger. Of course, I mean kindergarten. There's a limit to how much they can do, but by the time they get in first grade, I think they can go for it pretty well. I have a first grader at home who just got her first special ukulele for Christmas, and she's playing great.
Awesome.
She's writing her own songs. The chords
That's
don't make sense, but she's writing her own songs.
that's what it's about. Yeah, just about creating and exploring,
Yeah,
and then yeah, if she wants to go down that avenue someday, then you
yeah,
can.
yeah.
I had experience with trying to teach students guitar at first, especially if they bring me an acoustic, and usually it's too large, and then they try to make good sounds, and then it takes months and months and months even just to make good sounding chords on a guitar. So I'm really happy that a student of mine's sister had asked, "Hey, do you teach the ukulele?" And I said, "I don't. I've never played it before, but if you give me a week, I can see if I can work it out and figure it out." And I was just blown away. Okay, oh, it's like the guitar, but it's a little easier because the strings are spread apart, and you can make good sounds from the first day. I
Yeah.
was just I was
Yeah,
blown
you're
away.
actually, that's something that probably doesn't get talked about enough.
Hmm.
I find myself saying it probably a couple of times a week,
Yeah,
especially if a parent's coming in to look for a guitar for their child, and
yeah,
I'll say, "Oh, have you considered an ukulele?" And it doesn't
yeah,
always work, but I try to figure out the right way to say exactly what you just experienced is very true, because you
yeah.
don't want an instrument that's not comfortable. And if you're playing on a guitar, even a smaller guitar,
Right.
still not necessarily going to be something you're comfortable holding. And that's the first thing for me on a guitar or an ukulele is you got to be comfortable with it.
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed playing on it and just learning about it the last couple of years, and yeah,
Nice.
I'm still shocked when a student brings me a guitar and then I pull out the ukulele and say, just try it for a second, and I just wanted you to see it, and I probably have turned at least 10 people towards the
Wow.
ukulele at first, and I never say never learn the guitar,
Right.
but start here, see if you like it. If you're able to do it pretty easily, then and we can always jump over to the guitar and we can do that and explore that instrument as well. So,
I may
but
have you
yeah,
talk to my 14-year-old then, because I'm working on her.
yeah,
You may have to take a turn on that.
okay, okay, sounds good. All right, next, how can we use the ukulele a little bit more to spread joy or in these times? And we kind of talked about that, maybe playing a song daily. But do you have any ideas for how we can spread a little bit of joy, musical
Yes.
joy to people?
Yeah. It's interesting. I part of it's COVID has affected this, but some of the
Sure.
most fun I've had before this was these little ukulele festivals that pop up. We've had one in Lexington before COVID, I think maybe 4 years in a row
Yeah.
that they started one, and just being able to find those groups, and there's groups of ukulele players that get together maybe like once a week and play songs together. That type of stuff for me has probably been the most fun, not necessarily I've had, but watching others and just watching the way that their happiness, and talking to those who are participating in those groups, finding the ways to do that, that fellowship of playing with others. I think making music with others
Yeah.
is something we sometimes take for granted if we're just learning on our own and not playing. It's not playing in a band,
Yeah.
but I think that's something we miss out on a lot if we don't have those opportunities. And luckily, right now, the ukulele is the most popular instrument in the world. It is. I mean, in the music industry, there's more manufacturers making ukuleles right now than anybody can keep up with. I mean, it used to
Yeah.
be like you go to NAMM in Anaheim, it'd be like three, maybe 5 or 6 manufacturers. But now anybody that makes a guitar is making one, which is great. They should.
Yeah.
There's a few manufacturers I've been bugging for years and they still haven't. But I keep telling them, like, you should make an ukulele.
Yeah,
It will do well. But yeah, that's the big thing too. And I think now that we're doing things like this too, where we can, you know, just record one video of us singing one song and throw it out on social media,
sure.
and then others see that, and just sharing the way we can share now is so much easier. I hope we keep doing that. I hope once we get through this pandemic and everything, I hope that continues, that everyday people do it, not just, not just people who are making a living off of it or trying to make a living off of it, but
Sure, sure.
everybody else too. So
Awesome. And that kind of bridges to my next question, which is how did you start playing the ukulele, or what inspired you to start playing the ukulele?
it's funny. So I lived in Hawaii briefly on Oahu, 2012, 2013. And I had visited before. I had family there, and so I visited, and they had an ukulele hanging on the wall in their living room. So I was like, "Oh, I'll try this out." And then I've never played a string instrument like guitar or anything like that. So I was like, "Well, this is kind of cool." Once I moved there, then I would see somebody walking down the street holding an ukulele. Like we see that with guitar or something, but there it's ukulele. And so I started kind of catching on. I had one daughter at the time who was in school and they didn't have music class. So I offered to come help create a music class, and I actually taught her class twice a week for the first semester. And then the second semester, like, oh, you should come teach all the classes. But I found, this is what got me started, they had a classroom set of cardboard cutout ukuleles at the elementary school. Now, I will never teach anybody ever on that again.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend that. But that was kind of that, okay, wait a minute, I can do this. So then I got a book, and this is actually random. It was given to me for free. It was a book on how to play the ukulele, and it was all in Japanese. And I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you anything in there, but the very first time I really tried to play, I'm looking at this book thinking, okay, what am I reading? That was kind of the first time, so it was kind of tough to figure out what I was doing.
Yeah.
I really got into it though, coming back to Lexington, which is where I was before. Also, kind of did a there and back, and then started working at Willis Music right away. And so once I was around it, it took off pretty quickly, and loved it. So now I've been playing, 7.5 years or so, really trying to play.
Yeah.
Which has been good. Guitar did not work for me. We gave it a small chance. So.
Do you remember your first song that you learned on the ukulele?
I would bet it was probably something with C, F, G, maybe an A minor in there.
Yeah.
I would bet it was a church song. I do a lot of ukulele playing at my church. The kids in a normal year would come to me to start their morning before Sunday school, and we will sing a bunch of songs. And I just got to where I was using the ukulele. And I spent a lot more time doing that. So I would bet it was probably a song called Sanctuary. It's just a really pretty short, easy song, and it's just CFG. There's only 3 chords. And I bet I had the music to that for like piano, and I think that was the first one where I was like, strumming through those 3 chords. Gosh, getting to that G was so difficult that first, few weeks.
Yes. Yeah. Three finger chords. Yeah.
Yeah. So that probably I would bet was the first one I really tried. And I got on YouTube a little bit and tried to get some ideas. Like there's this one little lick that I tried to learn, and I only learned it so that I could show people at the store what it sounded like. I was like, I need one more thing. Sanctuary is not going to cut it. And I just learned this quick little progression that was really simple. I think it was C, C7, C, F. I mean, if something just very, very quickly, but it was fun. So just kind of like, oh, I can do it. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's how it all started though.
Yeah. So going to today, are you working on any songs specifically currently, or do you have a project that you're working on with your ukulele playing at all?
So actually I just took like a 6-month period of not playing. I just got out of that. I injured my arms in August, both arms, and it was like almost like tennis elbow. I guess it probably was tennis elbow, and it really hurt to play. I tried one time, and I couldn't do it. So that was in August, and so now here we are in March, but I just got back playing about a month ago. Gosh, missed it so much. So
Yeah.
what I'm doing now, I'm trying to learn some new songs to use to kind of just do more online music sharing and just kind
Yeah.
of create my own things. So I'm finding songs to do mostly church related, like Christian music stuff, but I'm also with a couple of my kids thinking, well, how can we play together? So I'm trying to come up with, that's kind of what I'm working on right now, is how can I motivate them to do to keep it up, play every day or, every other day. So I'm thinking if I can do it with them, and that'd be fun for us. I mean, even though we've hung out enough in the last year, but that's a good way to keep that togetherness time somewhere else. So
Awesome. Do you have any songs specifically that you like to play with them, or?
my 9-year-old who he loves to play the ukulele. He has an Alvarez concert um, with pickups, and it sounds amazing. It's actually probably the best concert ukulele under $200 I've ever touched. And the reason why it was set up, it was built for NAMM. So if you get an ukulele at NAMM, it's perfect
Yeah.
because the manufacturers want to make sure it's perfect, and it was. So I got
Mm.
it off the NAMM floor a few years ago, and it plays amazing. He loves right now to play the Jason Mraz "I'm Yours" song, which is easy to play actually on ukulele. So he likes to do that. So we're kind of getting all the kids playing it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of our go-to right now, just because it's a pretty simple one to do as a group too. So
Awesome. Where do you see ukulele going in the future, and what are you excited about seeing in ukulele, or what haven't you seen yet that you'd be excited about seeing?
yeah, I think kind of what we talked about. I mean, it almost wraps up a lot of what we said. I think it's going to continue to grow in schools.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be a part of that in a small way. I mean, you can get a classroom set of a nice set of classrooms ukuleles for $2,000.
Hmm.
A good set, and that's not even. I mean, you can go lower than that in price, but a PTA can cover that at a lot of schools too. So it's not something you have to fundraise necessarily. Also, I'm really excited to see that take off. I'm hoping one day, like guitars have taken off in schools, still continuing to grow. But now there's guitar ensemble stuff happening at all state conferences and professional development. I'd love to see that happening more.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of professional development and clinics and things to help, but I'd love to see that just blow up. There's so many amazing performers, much better than anything I've done. So I hope that continues to grow. I'm still waiting for like some of those mainline people to play ukulele more than just a little bit. Like Billie Eilish plays it on at least one song right now, and she just got her own ukulele with her own signature name on it.
Yeah.
Um, and then Jason Mraz, like I mentioned earlier, he plays a lot, and there's others, of course. Dave Matthews plays it on one, and just random, but I'm waiting just for it to take off to that point, because once that happens, maybe it needs to be on American Idol this week or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But once that happens, it's just going to continue. It's like I said, it's the most. It is. I literally tell people all the time. Right now, it is the number one most popular instrument in the world. It's not even close.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I think
It's
that's
not
pretty
even close.
cool.
I mean, we cannot. We've had a hard time keeping the go-to instruments in stock before COVID. I mean, COVID's a whole nother issue, but it's always a challenge. And now they're making them to where they're trying to make them for easy to learn. Well, they'll do some color coding up on the fingerboard for beginners, especially young kids, which is great, using colors to know what chord is what. And I think they're just going to get better. I think the what's going to happen too that I like, this is actually, I'll finish with this. I think as we go along, the quality will be better at a lower price.
Mm.
And that's starting to happen now, which is exciting because they're
Yeah.
realizing they can do it. Like they can add a strap button now in two places on an ukulele. And that's really challenging to do after you buy it. It's
Yeah.
really challenging. So
Without
now they
cracking
start
it.
coming with that. Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to start happening, which is great. So yeah, it's just going to nowhere to go but up, which is awesome. So
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today and talking to our audience. Really appreciate you having on the channel. And thank you so much, Chris. I hope to see you again soon. I'll come over to Willis and I'll check out your ukuleles and your books and everything. So
Good. Awesome.
cool.
Come
All right. Well,
on.
thank you so much. All right. Bye bye.